Hi everybody, it is Nat, and today I'm super excited about this video. I'm showing you guys some 10 books that I think are severely underhyped. On BookTube, it's all about the hype, all about which book is kind of sounding the best to you and which book is getting the most hype. So I thought I would share with you some books that I think are really good, but that are underhyped and deserve more recognition. So I have 10 books to show you. All of them I love and think most people should read. They're amazing. So yeah, they're not in any particular order, but let's go ahead and get into the video. First up, I have The Forbidden Game by L.J. Smith, and I don't think I've actually ever heard anybody mention this book. It was recommended to me by my cousin, and I think it's so good. At least what I read, it's a bind up of 3 different books, or like 3 different parts, but pretty much it's kind of just about this girl who her and her friends get sucked into this like dream world alternate dimension thing where they have to go through this kind of maze in this house and try and survive their worst fears and a bunch of different things and just try and get out alive. It's kind of board games made real and scary, and I think it's so good. It's not like the best written book ever, but the story is amazing, and I just I loved going through it, and just everything about this book I really enjoyed. Next up, and I actually talk about this series a lot on my channel, and that is the Partial series by Dan Wells. This is my favorite trilogy of all time. It is so good. Pretty much it's just about these robots who look exactly like humans, and humans kind of use them as slaves, but they have like, oh, what's it called? Not sustenance. I don't know, but that word when like you can think they have that, whatever that is, they can think, and so eventually like they turned on the humans, and so the book takes place in the like apocalyptic world after the Partials wiped out the majority of the humans with a virus, and we follow our main character as she meets a Partial and discover they're not always what they seem, and they kind of have to end up working together to save both species, and it is so good. I am obsessed with this series. It has lots of, I like mentioned this in another video, and it kind of like sounds bad. It's scientific without being like boring, you know? I just loved it. I think it's so amazing. I love everything about this series. It's so good. Next up, I have The Breathe, I think, duology by Sarah Crossan. I, again, love this series. I've only read the first book, and I think it's a duology. I could be so totally wrong. Pretty much this series is about, it's a dystopian, and humans are kind of forced to live in this dome where oxygen is regulated. And outside the dome, oxygen, it's something like oxygen's at like 6%, and in our world today, oxygen is at 21%, I think, around then. Or like 21% is normal. And then it's kind of just like a corrupt government, corrupt company type sort of deal. I think it's really good though. I love the whole like outside of the dome aspect. I just think it's amazing, and more people should read it. It is kind of like your classic dystopian, but I really enjoyed it. I love this series. I like the characters, I like the journey they go on, I like their relationship, and there's a lot of funny parts I think too. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this series, and I wish more people would talk about it. The next underhyped series that I have to share with you guys is the Pure Trilogy by Juliana Baggett. I think that's her name. But pretty much this is another series that has a dome in it, but pretty much it's also like post-apocalyptic, and there was like these bombs that went off that caused people outside of the dome to have kind of these deformities. So inside the dome, people are called pure because they're like fine and normal, and outside the dome, people have like messed with objects or other people or animals, and so pretty much a pure boy kind of escapes the dome, and it's about him just like on his travels and them trying to, there's like a pure or an unpure girl also, and they kind of meet up, and it's just about them trying to make life better for everybody. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. I like the deformities and kind of the role they play. I think that's really interesting. And yeah, I think more people should read this book. Next up, I have pretty much kind of just like a blanket statement, and that is Sarah Dessen books. I know Sarah Dessen books are very popular, and I wouldn't necessarily say they're underhyped, but I feel like on BookTube they're underhyped. I feel like I hardly ever hear people talking about Sarah Dessen books on booktube, but I know I loved them, like as a little girl, like in middle school and like freshman year. I loved reading Sarah Dessen books. She's just like, I just love them. They make you so happy. I think my favorite one, I always get two of their titles confused, but I'm pretty sure my favorite one is called The Truth About Forever. It's the one with the catering company and Wes. That is my favorite book by hers, but I just think they're all like so relatable and the writing's so good and the relationships are so cute, and like they're always like all these girls that like she writes about have all these like problems that like I could relate to, and I just really love these books, and I think more people should read them because I think that they are amazing. Next up, I have another series that I'm very passionate about, and that is Fallen by Lauren Kate. This is our quartet with some novellas and like a spin-off novel, but I feel like nobody talks about these books, and I love them. I think they are so good. They're about angels, and I just, oh, I love this book. It's so like dark and twisted and amazing, and I love it, and there's just like so much happening. I know it's gotten kind of some bad reviews on Goodreads, but I think the book is amazing. I love it. So if it sounds interesting at all to you guys, you definitely should, because I think it deserves more hype. I think it's fantastic, and I love the series. I love Luce, the main character. She's amazing. Daniel's okay. He's he grows on you. But yeah, I love the relationship and kind of the army of angels that's like in play, and just all of the different roles that everybody has. And yeah, I think you guys should read it if it sounds good to you. Next up, I have Endgame by James Frey. This is, I don't know if it's a series or a trilogy. I've only read the first book, but I really liked it. It's been a while since I read it, but I know I loved it, and I just remember pretty much it's a giant scavenger hunt to win power, and people have like powers, I think, and like mystical powers, and it's just awesome. Like they work together, some like killing happens. It's kind of like The Amazing Race, like on steroids with death. So it's really good, and I think more people should definitely read it. Next up, I have a standalone that I think is very underhyped, and that is Origin by Jessica Curry. I'm so sorry, I'm not sure how to say her last name, but I read this book quite a while ago, but I loved it. Pretty much it's about this girl who is raised kind of in this like scientific compound by a bunch of scientists, but she is immortal, and she doesn't really know anything other than the life they have created and told her is true. But eventually she meets a native of the island, and things kind of go from there, and she discovers that like everything she's been taught to know is not what it seems. And I just love this book. I love the character. Her name's Pia, but I loved reading about Pia as kind of, she like discovered everything and made her own choices, and it's so cool because she's immortal. And so like she has a pet, I forget what it was, but it's a pet big cat, like a pet, it's not a tiger, but it's like a pet tiger, which is crazy. But yeah, I loved it, and I love the choices she made, just kind of reading about that and how she grows as a character, like even just throughout one book. I really liked it. I feel like hardly anybody talks about this. Now I'm thinking about it, I feel like I don't even know if I've really seen this go around booktube too much, but I love it, and I think you guys should all read it because it's amazing. Next up, I have the Blood of Eden trilogy by Julia Kagawa. This is another obviously amazing series that I think is very underhyped. I have seen it, a few people talk about this book. I know Cassidy Vonch has mentioned it a lot. I think that's kind of how from her is how I first discovered this series, but it's super good. It's kind of a mix between dystopian and fantasy. It's a dystopian world with vampires, and vampires are the evil rulers, and so it's about the main character. She starts off human but then becomes vampire, and she doesn't want to have to like be a part of this system that she hates and like kill people and all that stuff. So she sets out on her own and eventually like meets up with this group of humans, and kind of the story goes from there. I just think it's so good. It's so dark. The characters are so complex and fascinating. I just really loved reading about the characters in this one, and kind of just like the choices and like travel that they go on, and I just loved it. So I think everybody should also read this, and more people should talk about it because it's seriously amazing. Alright, and the final underhyped book that I have to share with you guys today is Nightshade by Andrea Kramer. This is, I think it's a trilogy, but like with a spin-off trilogy also. There's like a few books that have to do with this world, but it has to do with werewolves and kind of like their secret society, and I just think it's so amazing. I've only read the first book, but I really enjoyed it. I really liked the main character, and then her like fiance. I just think it was really good. I was like, I read this a while ago, so the details are a little fuzzy to me, but I remember I loved it, and I have all the rest of the books, and I really want to get to them because it's so good. And I just remember the ending was like, what? Like, it was just the first book, and already the ending's like, it's like I can't, this is intense. But yeah, I think I already mentioned this, but I really like the main character. She is amazing, and yeah, I just really enjoyed this book. I think more people should read and talk about it because it's good. But alright, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment down below some books that you think are underhyped. I would love to also know, because obviously I think books should be more hyped if they deserved it. That was a weird sentence. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.